But we also had a live in-ring interview with Naomi, who wants a match with Cruella DeVille. But Cruella had Shayna Baszler jump her and beat her up, so we're an hour and 25 minutes in. Then we had the Usos against the New Day. And when that was over, we were an hour and 40 minutes in. And then here comes Roman Reigns' limo. And now we go to the break, and now we come back, and there's Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and the Usos coming to the ring. We got 15 minutes left. So now we got down to nut-cutting time. And they did tons of milking of the crowd before they even started the promo, but considering the other programming on this episode, I'll just sit there and watch them stand there. Roman Reigns is great. He's in command of the situation. He has that heelish, condescending look and the way he talks to people. He's not happy with the Usos because they lost the match to the New Day, but there is blood. And then he looks at Heyman and he says, but then my wise man, you're not my blood. Paul's face, just the man with 1,000 faces, Paul Heyman. So Reigns says you can't be disrespecting me, and he asked Paul all those questions that he's been asking for weeks now. Can I trust you? Did you know Brock Lesnar was coming back at SummerSlam? Did you know Brock Lesnar was going to be at Madison Square Garden? Did you know Brock Lesnar's suspension was lifted? Are you a special counsel or an advocate? And Paul is just, he's smarmy and groveling and nervous. And I mean, if he was 300 pounds lighter, he would be Don Knotts. It was fucking great, right? And then finally, Roman Reigns says, I want the truth. Why are you protecting Brock Lesnar from me? And then Paul screws up his courage and finally replies with all the respect and deference in the world in his voice that he can muster. He says, I'm not protecting Brock Lesnar from you. I'm protecting you from Brock Lesnar.
That was great.
Oh. So there you go. And Reigns fucking hugs him, puts his arms around him. He's got the microphone there so you can hear him, but he said, I love you. Thank you for 40 years of service to my family. And you're fired. And as Paul's face gets shocked, Reigns turns around to walk off and then turns back around and runs and hits him with it wasn't really a Superman punch. Maybe it was a Superboy punch. Maybe even Crypto the Super Dog punch. Because Roman Reigns hit Paul with that. And Paul, you could see right at the, he knew it was coming. He's trying not to move. He used to do the same thing 30 years ago when I would grab him to punch him. He'd stick his chin out and become as immobile as a statue. So if it was any kind of potato, it was my fault, right? It was like grabbing onto a fucking trunk of a tree. He was so nervous or whatever. But anyway, Reigns hits the Superman punch. Paul goes down, but his feet didn't leave the ground. That was the lowest altitude ever on a bump, but he went down and he stayed there. And the people blew. And then Reigns has the Usos going to bring chairs in, and they're going to concerto Paul. And my God, not only is that a little extreme, but also the size of Paul's head, I was worried about the chairs.
Will you stop it?
Well, no, but in all seriousness, this was so good. I wish they hadn't gone for the concerto thing because that's a bit much. But, boom, music before they can do it, and here comes Brock Lesnar. And, of course, now the criminals finish committing their crime or stop committing their crime because the police are 100 yards away. But here comes Klondike Brock. And the Usos meet him on the ground, and he kicks the shit out of the Usos, and then he slides in, but Reigns takes the chair to him, but he said, fuck it. Brock just stands up under him and gives him an F5. Boom, and then another one, boom. And then poor Paul's still laying there like yesterday's wash, and Reigns and the Usos are bailing, and Brock Lesnar's fired up in the ring. That was a fucking angle. And then the last thing that the announcers are saying, my God, can Brock Lesnar defeat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. We'll find out in just a few weeks. I mean, that's wrestling. We didn't have to sit through. The people that watched this program live had to sit through an hour and 45 minutes to get to the meat of the matter. But if you just watched that 15 minutes, boy, that was a great fucking program. What'd you think, Brian?
It was tremendous. Roman Reigns was great. Heyman is just on another level. He's the best actor in professional wrestling because a good actor, you can't really tell they're acting. You know he's acting because it's wrestling, but goddamn, he's good. And the way he delivered that line that he was protecting Roman from Brock and then Roman's face, that was great stuff. And I don't know about Brock, the happy butcher or whatever he is now, his fucking outfit. But this was just tremendous. And, you know, this has been the one saving grace for WWE this year that we've seen has been the Heyman Roman Reigns stuff. That's really it.
And that's, you know, I guess that's something, but not much. But anyway.
What do you think's really going on in that head of Paul Heyman's right now? What is he really thinking? He sees everything that's happening in wrestling. What do you think he's thinking?
I think he's thinking that obviously they're spending some money these days, and I'm sure he's probably got the best contract in the company because if there's a legal point to be addressed, you can be assured that Paul Heyman will be on top of it. And he doesn't have to do almost anything physical. I'm amazed that he will put up with the travel, especially to Saudi Arabia. But otherwise than that, he's got to know that, I mean, it's not like he's going to start another revolutionary promotion and change the wrestling world because he knows the wrestling world is fucked. And he's always been smart enough after ECW to either not get into situations where he would look bad, i.e. never going to TNA and having a reason why that made him look like the babyface, or getting out of situations that are making him look bad without getting any on him, like the WWE resurrection of ECW. And he's got to know this fucking business. What the fuck? And, you know, all the shit going on in AEW. He's, I'm sure, happy right where he is, being involved with one of the two top people in the entire industry, with the established industry leader that he knows is not going to fucking go anywhere. And the office is still 30 minutes from Scarsdale. So I think he's happy to stay right where he is and be a brilliant TV performer and not try to drive himself crazy or give himself a fucking stroke trying to save the wrestling business.
Well, it's noticeable that it's his segments that tend to be the best on the entire show. And some weeks the best in the entire business.
He's going to make sure that, I mean, obviously accidents happen, things happen, but he's going to try to make sure as best he can that whatever he's involved in is fucking great. And the other people that he's working with have all their ducks in a row, and then everything else, what happens, and it doesn't reflect on him. I think he's got a perfect spot.
Well, that was Smackdown for this week.
Yep, it was. And I hate to see, because Reigns and Heyman have been so good together. And now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Long term, because Brock ain't going to stick around forever, I wonder long term how this is going to affect Mr. Heyman, because you don't just, he'd go from Roman Reigns to Brock Lesnar and then to fucking Doudrop or whatever. Maybe he could do something with Austin Theory. I don't know if Heyman, and then Paul as a babyface. This will be interesting.
Yeah, is Paul, I guess technically he's a babyface now, right? I mean, Brock's a babyface.
Yeah, well, in name only, but you want Brock to beat Roman Reigns. So if Paul's on the side of the person that the people want to see win, then he's technically the babyface. So let's see how he does. 30 years ago, I was a babyface against him. Let's see how he does now, babyface manager.
I would love to see him as a cheerleader at ringside like you were with the Babyface Midnight Express at Starrcade 88. Hopping around.
Hopping around, firing people up, swinging that racket. But you know what? That's what I was going to say. Reigns and Heyman were such a great pairing, though, such a great duo. I'm sorry. I just regret that we'll never be able to see them standing there together again. Just that beautiful picture of the wise man and the tribal chief. Will we never see that sight again, Brian?
Well, there is a way that Paul, or perhaps Roman, or perhaps both of them, can have a work done to commemorate their wonderful time together, their wonderful collaboration, and of course the dissolution of this collaboration we just saw, but we can remember the good times with skylight frames.
That's exactly right, because even if Haynes and Raymond, or Reigns and Heyman, are no more, we have pictures, we have memories. And folks, if you have pictures and memories that you want to share with your family and your loved ones and your friends and your neighbors, the folks at Skylight Frame can fix you right up. We've been talking about this miraculous technical innovation for months and months now. The Skylight Frame is a photo frame that you can load pictures on and update instantly by email from anywhere. So it's a great way to feel close to those you love, even when you're separated. If you're separated by distance, if you're separated by oceans, if someone in your family is in prison, whatever the case may be, it sets up effortlessly. In under 60 seconds, you plug it in, use the touch screen to connect to your Wi-Fi. Hopefully it's not Spectrum. And you can start sending pictures to the Skylight Frame. It's a nice black frame with a white mat, so it looks like a real picture frame, but it won't just house one picture. It'll house a plethora of pictures. On the gorgeous 10-inch touchscreen, you can swipe through the pictures with your finger, and you can even use your finger to tap the photo and thank the person who sent the picture. And, well, you can use your finger on a lot of things with this thing. It's 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't love it, they'll offer you a full refund. You've been the one to bring to the attention of all the listeners that they will not use your photos that you've preloaded as blackmail if you want to.
No, why do you keep bringing this up? Why do you keep bringing this up?
Well, I figure, sometimes some people would get mean about that. But no, they ask no questions and offer no resistance to give you the refund if you don't love it, but you're going to love it. And all those pictures that people can send, they can be of family and friends and cherished places and vacations and pets, even candid photography. And as we've mentioned, there's been testimonials that some of the people have given these Skylight Frames to their mother. One of the mothers broke down and cried tears of joy. So if you would like to make your loved ones cry for Christmas, get them a Skylight Frame and sit there and watch them start crying when all the pictures of the kids come in. The kids that aren't there because they've said, fuck you, Grandma. No, but sometimes you just can't get to the old family home for Christmas. It's not like they're saying fuck you. But anyway, as a special offer, you can get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter the code DRIVE, SKYLIGHTFRAME.com, the promo code DRIVE for $10 off the purchase of a Skylight Frame. Again, folks, make anybody in the world that you know cry with happiness over all these wonderful pictures. And if the kids really do say fuck you to Grandma and won't go to her house for Christmas, at least she can look at pictures of them.
Skylightframe.com.
Promo code DRIVE.